Welcome. This is an introduction to conscious connected breathwork. Breathwork is the act of consciously altering the breath or the breathing pattern. Conscious connected breathwork is a type of breathwork where you are breathing without pause. So there's no pause between the inhale and the exhale, allowing the breath to be in one continuous circular pattern. And by eliminating the pause, this allows oxygen levels to rise within the body, as well as carbon dioxide to begin to decrease in the body. And when you have these shifts in oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, it allows us to access the subconscious mind. We begin to enter into non-ordinary or higher states of consciousness. You will be journeying in a safe and intentional space that is trauma-informed, that allows for a post-breathwork integration, as well as space for regeneration and sharing and processing at the end. The journey will be parasympathetic driven, as well as utilizing the intelligence and the wisdom of the body. We will be leaning into the principles of allowance over force and surrender over control. During the journey, you will have free-form, intuitive, uninhibited expression, welcoming all of you into the space. The power of breathwork can affect us on 4 different levels: physical, emotional, mental, and then energetic or spiritual. On a physical level, breathwork helps to deliver more oxygen to the cells, the tissues, the organs, all the systems of the body. It helps to soothe, unwind, and regulate the nervous system. It can promote optimal digestion and sleep. It can eliminate oxidative stress, as well as induce trauma release from the body. Conscious connected breathwork can maximize your lung capacity, and it can also retrain your resting breath. And 90% of the energy and 70% of the detoxification comes from the breath alone. And on the emotional level, doing this type of breathwork and journeying deep into the subconscious, we can access repressed or suppressed emotions or experiences that we've had. Most of us have, been conditioned or grown up to believe that there are good emotions and there are bad emotions. And what this work gives you the opportunity to process and be with is that we get to experience the full range of emotions in safety, in full permission, without judging them as good or bad. It allows us to really embrace all aspects of ourselves in wholeness and instead of in separation or judgment. Through this process, we get to remember that all of our emotions are valid and welcomed into the space. Conscious connected breathwork can also induce catharsis, which is deep, intense, visceral, emotional release. So you can tap into unprocessed, unmet emotions like rage, anger, grief, sadness, pain, shame, frustration, repressed traumatic imprints, and you can also unlock joy, bliss, creativity, passion, gratitude, love, sensuality, sexuality, pleasure, purpose, vision, peace, vitality. There's so much that can be met and tuned into during these sessions. You have full permission to express in however that emotion is wanting to express through you, whether that's through laughing, crying, screaming, shaking, dancing, moving, swaying, roaring, howling, primal noises. Literally anything that you need to do, that the body needs to do to move the energy, you have full permission to be able to express that in this space. From the emotional aspect, we get an opportunity to really explore the wholeness, the totality of who and what we are in compassion and with an open heart. And this helps to foster true acceptance and forgiveness. allowing us to truly integrate our full lived experiences. So, moving into the mental aspect of how breathwork can affect our thinking. Most of us are in our overthinking mind, or our beta brainwave, which tends to override like the deeper intuitive knowing and wisdom that is within all of us. And so with the beta brainwave, I kind of think of this as the hamster on the wheel. And so the mind is just going, that hamster is just running on the wheel and seems like never wants to hop off or take a break. By switching out of that beta brainwave, we're able to shift into alpha and then theta brainwave doing the breath work. And this allows us to be in a state of consciousness that we can actually hear and be with those deeper wisdoms and knowings and intuitions that are always there, but that hamster on the wheel tends to keep us preoccupied from listening. Breathwork can elevate and improve mental clarity by accessing those expanded brainwave states. It can also help to cultivate a higher or bird's eye perspective, connecting into that deeper wisdom. Breathwork accesses the limbic brain, which helps to unlock repressed emotions, memories, and brings them into the light of your awareness for healing, resolution, integration. As we move throughout our day, we can be upwards of 95% being directed by our unconscious material, meaning our decisions, our actions, our emotions, our behaviors are all being directed by this unconscious material. And breathwork allows us or gives us access to these areas, to the beliefs that we have deep down that we are not necessarily consciously aware of. And within these unconscious, thoughts and beliefs, upwards of 70 to 80% of those are negative, disempowering, self-sabotaging, and self-limiting. So these thoughts and beliefs can come from our earlier experiences, usually between the ages of 3 to 7, when our cerebral cortex is developing. And so before the age of 8, we just really internalize our reality like sponges. Everything, a child internalizes and represses then becomes the operating system of how they see the world. So even if a child was told verbally or non-verbally that they are not enough, this becomes a structure or belief system or a program that's running in the background that they may not be consciously aware of as an adult. And so based off that unconscious material, they're making their decisions based on a deep belief that they're not worthy or they're not enough. And so the power of just simply being able to access this material, to be able to meet it, and to be able to shift the belief system so that we can rewrite those subconscious thoughts and beliefs into what we truly want in our conscious mind. And through our earlier experiences, all this material gets regulated into the subconscious, and it doesn't ever really go away. It is just directing our lives without our conscious awareness, and this just gives us an opportunity to become more aware, more conscious, so that we can make choices that are not coming from structures that were created from when we were children. Breathwork is one of the few modalities that can access the subconscious mind without the use of plant medicine or hypnosis. The other very, not just interesting, but powerful ways that breathwork can affect us is through our epigenome. Everything that has ever happened to us, our ancestors, is stored within our DNA. It holds all the memories of the gifts, the traumas, and so when we're doing this work, we're healing not only for ourselves, for our bloodlines, for each other. There was a study done at Emory University that was not ethical, but it was done, where they exposed the scent of a cherry blossom with a small electrical shock. The mice had an association between the scent and the physical trauma that occurred and the nervous system effect that occurred when they received the shock. And those mice mated, and the new generation that came through was only exposed to the scent of the cherry blossom, and their nervous system responded as if they received the shock when it didn't. This just helped to show how the epigenetics stores the information of experiences and associations, and how that can get passed down through the generations. So from an energetic or spiritual level, breath is the carrier of life. It is the bridge between spirit and matter, and the chariot of the soul. So for me, that chariot of the soul just really lands very deep, because we take our first breath into this world and we have our last breath as we leave these bodies. So it is just such a powerful unseen force that is a gateway to these higher states of consciousness that can allow us to experience immense healing, have life-changing experiences, and just really sacred moments of meeting the self, the soul. Breath allows us to really tune in deeply with our inner landscape, allows us to activate the healer or that wise one within, and it supports true sovereignty. Conscious connected breath literally thins the perceptual veil, allowing us to merge with our spiritual nature or our soul.